So D&D is an old game. There's no denying that. It's basically the boomer of tabletop RPGs. With it being first released in 1974, it quickly branched out into other mediums, like novels from the Dragonlance series. You also got your comic books, your board games, your actual plays, your podcasts, your radio shows, your freaking video games. Guys, we have so many video games about D&D. It is bananas. But there is one medium that we don't see a lot of when it comes to D&D, which is honestly surprising knowing how dramatic D&D can be, and that is theater.
Did someone say D&D and theater?
What the flump? Who said that? Hello? Hello? Oh god, the voices. I'm finally going insane.
Look at your computer, you thembo.
Okay, I'm looking at the computer, and oh my god.
I have dice. Remember me?
Yeah, I remember you, Vari. Last time I saw you, you kidnapped me.
I don't remember that being a thing.
He did, it was bananas.
Anywho, since I'm a bard that's well-versed in theater, I think it would be cool to help you out.
Well, I'm a theater major too, Vari, and I think I'm well qualified to talk about D&D and theater.
Well, true, but you do know what they say. 2 heads are better than 1.
2 theater people talking about D&D. Well, that's kind of a good proposition you got there, Vari.
So, you ready to do this?
Yeah, sure, why not? You're not gonna kidnap me again, are you?
Nope.
Why do I feel like I just multi-classed into Warlock?
When you look at D&D as a whole, it is a type of theater. It's basically a game of improv, which in itself is a type of theater. Improv is basically you have no script and run things with either suggestions from the outside sources or you make them up on the fly. It's a pretty basic old style of theater dating back all the way to the Italian farce in 391 BC with Greece and Commedia dell'arte in 16th century Italy to about the 18th century. Any TTRPG out there is basically a form of theater style. It's the oldest game of improv out there. Hell, actual plays of TTRPGs could actually be considered devised theater, which is a fancy way of saying everyone contributes to the story and script of a performance. And that in itself is a form of improv theater. And that whole topic of whether actual plays are devised theater is an entirely different subject for a different video, but we'll save that one for another time. And what is your little games that you have but performances? Those actual plays that you run on Twitch or on podcasts are basically shows that have a set running time. And there's actual plays that definitely up the theatrics of D&D to play with the audience with production value, like maps, miniatures, artwork for your characters, even the dices you use are all props for a show you put your all into. D&D has evolved from home shows you make for your friends to produce performances for tens, hundreds, or even thousands. In recent times, it becomes another style of theater, an ascension from previous foundations of other kind of theater styles.
Since we're talking about D&D and theater, the big question comes around. Are there any shows that focus around D&D when it comes to theater? And surprisingly, yeah, there's a couple. Let's talk about them. The first and most popular one is She Kills Monsters by Queen Mugen. I'm not going to talk a lot about this play because I already did a huge video talking about it and the production and how it went and everything, which you guys should, totally go check it out or anything. It was one of my favorite videos of all time. Shameless plug. But the basic gist of it, that it follows Agnes, a woman who just lost her entire family in a car crash. And she discovers that her sister has a whole entire collection when it comes to D&D. She soon discovers a homebrew module that she written for her and takes on a magical journey into this world. It is a hilarious and heartbreaking story, and I recommend you guys check this out.
But let's look at something that is not as popular as She Kills Monsters, but still deserves your time. Of Dice and Men by Cameron McNard. Now, you may be confused with another book that shares the same name written by David M. Ewalt, who goes to the history of D&D. If there's any interest of talking about that, then please let us know in the comments below. Now, what is the play of Dice and Men about? Well, it's about John Francis who's moving up to San Francisco and one of his friends gets enlisted. It follows the fallout of that and a group trying to come to terms with the potential loss of their friends.
I read the play in a day and I thought it was good. It is a little coarse when it comes to his language by dropping a lot of swears and a few times dropping the R word, which content warning about that if you're gonna read this play, so heads up on that, buddy. It feels like it drops a lot of swears for no apparent reason, and then I just kind of realized That was the freaking point. One of the characters, John Alex, is immature as all heck. He drops down a lot of swears and he's a bit of a jackass. When he finds out that his friend Jason has enlisted into the army while playing a game of Dungeons and Dragons, he snaps at him and they fight. It is a messy outburst of emotions. At first, like anything, it starts out passive-aggressively. John Alex's D&D character was trying to steal a magic item from Jason's character when he found out that he was going to enlist in the army. And then that soon flew into fisticuffs and, the whole theater dramatic things, because the theater! It puts the whole group in jeopardy, because how do you recover from an actual fight that was happening in your game? Well, according to this play, you have an emotional heart-to-heart while fighting the BBEG of the campaign, while the rest of your party members are down and out for the count, dead. And then you have this very touching moment of like trying to fight who's going to do the noble sacrifice to slay the BBEG. It's actually really cute. It was actually kind of hilarious to see that happen. It was really, really cute. John Alex grows up and tells Jason that he's scared of losing his friend, that he doesn't want to lose him, and that he was acting immature about the whole thing. He takes responsibilities for his action, and that's sometimes what you gotta do when you're an adult. Plus, the chemistry when it comes to the characters in this play is actually spot on. I love how these characters interact with each other. It's like listening to a group of friends actually playing D&D in front of you. She Kills Monsters is a PG-13 movie about grief and moving on. Of Dice and Men is a teenager's first rated R film, which is about growing up, but still keeping that whimsy about being a kid and enjoying the fun of it. And all these two plays are centered around a game about playing make-believe with your friends.
Now that we talked about plays in this video, what about the well-known genre of theater? Musicals. I mean, if there is musicals about freaking cats, Jesus, or even Pokemon. Yes, there is a musical about Pokemon, look it up. There has to be some musical about D&D, and there actually is. Two from what I've found. The first one we're going to talk about is called Here There Be Dragons, a musical quest. The musical follows a group of friends from college, and they're having their last D&D session before graduation. It had a run in off-Broadway in June 16, 2022 to July 17. There's not any footage of the shows or recordings. Trust me, I looked. But I did manage to find some of the songs of the shows, and they're pretty bops. I don't know if I can play any of them because YouTube and its copyright strikes, but I'll put a link to where you can listen to them and the songs in the descriptions below. What about the other one? Well, that one is called The Last Trial the Musical, and it's actually based on the Dragonlance book series called The Dragonlance Trilogy by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. Now, what the flump is a Dragonlance? That's a whole different topic for a different video, but basically it's a shared universe of the fictional world of D&D and TSR owned. It has its own continuity and story. Kind of like how Star Wars has its own extended universe and stuff. What's the musical about? Well, I'm gonna be frank with you guys, that might be a whole separate video because this bad boy is thick. And when I mean thick, I mean thick. With 3 C's.
The musical is 2.5 hours long, and I am saving that for another video because holy crap, that is a lot of time. Okay, full disclosure about this. I wanted to do a whole video talking about this series of the War of the Twins books and everything. I bought all 3 books and everything. I got them right here and all that jazz, and I even bought the audiobook because I really like the story, and I heard it's a famous D&D story that you gotta read. But besides Drizzt and all that stuff and everything. And you want to know how long the audiobook is for when you buy it on Audible? 15 hours and 13 minutes. And I'm sitting here like, how the heck did they cram this? And not to mention three of these bad boys into one 2.5 hour long musical. Theater is bananas, man.
What is this show about? Well, according to the plot, the dark magician Ralston Magier, in his quest for absolute power, decides to take over the whole world and become a god. But a light priestess appears on his way to stop him. You can actually find the recording of the musical on YouTube, which is actually pretty dope.
So those are all the shows that we could find that talks about D&D. I feel like D&D is a perfect match for theater. It's like cookies and milk. You can't go wrong with it, and it is a classic grade A combo that's gonna keep you full and happy. The way that we're headed now when it comes to actual plays and productions with other D&D shows and everything, we might see a revolution when it comes to new types of D&D theater mashups and everything. It's going to be really cool. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching to the end of the video. It really means a lot to us. You can check me out at Dice and Autism and at most socials and everything. Vari the Bard, thank you so much for being in this video with me.
I'm gonna eat your soul.
You first, Bucko. And if you want to support me in any means, then please check out my Ko-fi, where you become members and check out really, really cool things, get behind-the-scene access to videos and everything. Also get a chance to vote on what videos happens next and everything, and it's a lot of fun. And yeah, this helps out get the videos come out faster and everything. We're gonna have like the scrollies going on for the people who have supported this video and everything for the month. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. See you guys later, okay? All right, peace.